Redshift here, doing my part to shift perceptions out of the pink and into the red. Okay, so there was a video that I was going to post today, but it was 30 minutes, and I really actually, believe it or not, hate making long videos and hate releasing long videos. It's just there happens to be so much to say on everything that it's like I can't really help but make a lot of long videos. But I really, really hate releasing long videos because I know I hate watching long videos typically. And I don't think my subscribers want to watch long videos either. So it's like, I feel like, forced to make long videos a lot of times or whatever, like it's just not a fan of long videos myself or other people's videos. But yeah, I thought I'd just make this really short video so that I will not have to release another long video. 30 minutes is pretty long, much less an hour or an hour and a half, so I'm making this video and then I'll release the 30-minute one tomorrow. But I wanted to respond to what I've been wanting to make another gold, silver type of another precious metals video, and Old Man Flappy Nuts' comment just which actually unsurprisingly, as my computer and my internet and my YouTube account are all fucked up, so I didn't actually get his comment. It didn't show up on the video, but it did show up in the notifications thing, and it was short, so I was able to read the whole thing because it's not gonna show the whole thing on the notification thing, especially if the comment didn't actually go through. So I didn't. That was the only comment I got from him, and it didn't even show up, but I still could read it on the notifications, and it said, "I knew the premiums on silver were going to be unreasonably high, so I ended simply not buying into it." Okay, so I'm not sure what this means. Does this mean that he's not going to buy silver anymore until the price comes down, like, comes down more to the COMEX spot price? Or is this saying he's just done with silver entirely and he's going to buy gold now? Or maybe he's going back to being interested in crypto, which I thought he had said he had dismissed before. I'm not sure what he meant by that. And if he makes a comment on it, I don't know if it'll get through to me on this video. But since he said that, I wanted to take this opportunity to say what I was going to say anyway, basically, which is that platinum is a really, really good deal right now. And platinum, if I remember correctly, I did the math a few days ago, but I have a terrible memory, so I can't remember what it was, but I think it was it was either a little cheaper or it was definitely no more expensive than the premium on gold now. So, and also, since the price of platinum is so much cheaper than gold, this means that you can afford to buy in bigger size. Like, if you can only afford to buy a half an ounce of gold, which is like what, about 900 bucks or so, after the premium, it might be 950 or whatever. I think it's between 900 and 950 or so, or if it's not quite 900, it's definitely close to 900, right, for half an ounce of gold, right? So the smaller the coin you get, the greater the premium is going to be in percentage terms compared to the amount that you are paying for the coin, right? So you may be paying less dollars in premium, but you're paying a higher percentage in premium compared to what you're paying for the actual metal. So since platinum is way cheaper, you can buy a bigger coin and thereby pay a smaller premium because it's, less than half the price of gold right now. Less than half. That is absolutely astonishing. I mean, platinum is as rare as gold, and they mine like 7 to 10% as much of it as they do gold. In other words, they mine 1/10 or less as much platinum as they do gold every year. So hardly any platinum is mined every year, like just 2 to 300 tons. Not that much compared to the 3,000 tons of gold, even though platinum is just as rare as gold is. It's not actually rarer, but considering they mine way less of it, and therefore there's way less above ground supply, it's not like this year's platinum is they're mining less of it. It's like they've always mined way less platinum than gold, right? But, we're not in a superstitious world where only gold and silver are money anymore. We're living in a world of crypto, and where a lot more people buy platinum and palladium, especially palladium, than ever before. They even sell a 1 ounce rhodium coin or a 1 ounce rhodium bar, I should say, on providentmetals.com. I think that was the website that sells the 1 ounce rhodium bar. But anyway, so yeah, it really is the case that I think platinum is just as good as gold because it's rare and you know the premium is just as cheap, and you can buy a bigger coin because the price being half of what gold is. But I got onto that tangent by wanting to say that platinum historically has always been more expensive than gold. So for platinum to be less than half the price of gold is literally like mind blowing. That is just so mind blowing. It's just, you don't even know how mind blowing that is. Like, platinum is never ever that cheap. It's insane. It's even more insane that platinum's this low compared to what silver's price is compared to gold. Like, silver's price now is above the 100 gold to silver ratio, meaning it takes over 100 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. That is insane. Only in 2 times over the last 100 years has that been the case, or maybe the last 120 years, something like that. I saw this really long chart. It was like a 100 or 120 year chart, or something like that. It's a really, really long chart. And it showed, like, let me go to it. I have it right here. It goes all the way back to 1915. So it's a 105-year chart. And only in 1940 and in, let's see, was it 91 or something? Yeah, January 1991, very briefly, and for several months, maybe almost the whole year of 1940, you had the gold-silver ratio at 97.31 in 1940. And then in 1991, very briefly, it reached, it was getting up there, you know, but then it spiked there a little bit higher than usual, and then it dropped a little bit, and then it's still pretty high in about the range of 92, but it was only like at 90, let's see here, 90, it's really hard to get the bar right. 99.47 was the gold to silver ratio, January 1991. So only twice in the last 105 years has the gold-silver ratio gotten to be this insane, where it takes this much silver to buy an ounce of gold, because that's how much silver is undervalued, or that's how much gold is overvalued. But we know that gold is not overvalued. It's undervalued, so it's not gold being overvalued, it's silver being insanely undervalued. But as insanely undervalued as silver is, it's not historically unprecedented, at least for brief periods of time, twice in the last 105 years, right? So it's still pretty rare. It's still extremely rare for the gold-silver ratio to be where it is. But platinum being this low, I think platinum, I can't remember, I don't think I looked at a chart, but I don't know that platinum has ever been this low compared to gold. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Although silver has been so undervalued for so long, and now it's just reaching an extreme again, that actually I think silver is the better deal. Because, like, I did a little simple math in my head, and like if gold goes to $100,000 an ounce, which it easily could if society gets out of control and people lose all faith in the dollar, and everybody wants gold and silver, then yeah, gold could absolutely go to $100,000 an ounce. It could even go to $1 million an ounce, literally. And so that being the case, let's just say gold goes to $100,000 an ounce. It's really quite reasonable that platinum would be $120,000 to $150,000 an ounce. So I took the number 150,000, and then if you you look at today's price, you know, 750 times 10, that's 7,000, times 100, that's 75,000. So, you know, 200 times. That's the price of platinum going up by 200 times. That's the price of gold going up by less than 100 times. You know, closer to like what, like 75 times or something, right? And it's a very rough estimate. And silver, that's the price of silver going up though even more than, especially if you want to compare it to the spot price rather than the real price of today of about $20 an ounce. But if you compare the $20 an ounce price today, which you can get ounces for $20 an ounce. You can even get, you know, you get it for less than $1,900 if you go to Scottsdale Mint. I mean, less than $1,900. You can buy like even with a credit card, it's less than $1,900 for a 100-ounce bar of silver. So then you're getting silver per ounce at less than $19 an ounce. But let's just say we're talking about coins, and we're talking about like generic rounds, and we're paying about $20 an ounce, which I think you can get coins for. You can either get them 19 to 21. I can't remember what the price is, but let's just say 20. Okay, $20 times 100 would be 200, 2,000. If so, that's you know, times 100. But if gold went to $100,000 an ounce, then the reasonable price for silver would be 1/10 the price of gold. By the way, in that Motherland video, I said the wrong price for silver. I said 488,000 for silver. I meant to say $488,000 an ounce for gold and 48,000 an ounce for silver. So, like if gold's price were that, right? But if gold's price were just $100,000 an ounce, then the price for silver would be $10,000 an ounce, right? And so that would be actually 500 times the price of silver today, right? Because, times 20 by 5, and that's, 100, and then you times that by 100, and then, that's 1,000, 10,000, right? So 500. 500 times the price of today's silver is $10,000 an ounce, right? So what did I say? Like platinum was, what did I say? Like 200 times or something? Yeah, I said it was like 200 times the price today, right? So silver is still a better deal from that perspective, even if you buy at today's insanely high prices for silver, right? So this is not really to say the old man flapping nuts is wrong per se, because it's just a matter of where you think things are going, right? Like if you think the COMEX price or the Shanghai Gold Exchange price or silver, Shanghai Gold Exchange price for silver, if you want to look at either of those and say, I think we're going closer back to that because this panic is going to end, well then yeah, you want to wait. But if you think this whole, social distancing thing is going to annihilate the economy, and then you think that, this is a permanent divergence from the COMEX or Shanghai Gold Exchange price, and that we're never going to see gold or silver at the COMEX or Shanghai Gold Exchange price again, and the physical is always going to be way more expensive. If you think that, then you probably should be buying silver right now, because, the price is probably not going to go down again, right? So it's just a matter of, guessing or interpretation or whatever. So I'm not saying he's wrong, but I just wanted to point this out because this is kind of what you have to take into consideration. Also, like I was saying, platinum is an insanely good deal now, but even as insanely of a good deal as it is, if platinum goes to where it easily could, 150,000 an ounce, gold goes to 100,000 an ounce, silver should be then about 10,000 an ounce. Even then, silver is still a better deal than platinum, but platinum you're going to pay a much lower premium on compared to the spot price. But again, if the spot price is totally fake now and the physical price and the spot price have permanently diverged and they're never going to meet again, then it really doesn't matter that, silver's way above the spot price and platinum is not all that high above the spot price. You know what I'm saying? So you'd still be better off buying silver, but more silver is mined every year, and way less platinum than gold is mined every year, whereas way more silver is mined every year. So, there's always this like sort of fake idea of the abundance of silver, even though it's really not that accurate. Silver actually is way rarer because it gets destroyed in industrial processes and stuff. I saw some video recently that said one of the experts was saying like I think it was Rick Rule. By the way, Sprott Media and Sprott Money are two different channels on YouTube that you might want to check out. Sprott Money is, I think that's the one with the interviews where Craig Hemke interviews people. Maybe it's him interviewing Eric Sprott. And then the Sprott Media channel is like mainly Rick Rule. He works for Sprott, and he is an interesting guy, by the way. He's got this like perpetually amused, almost smarmy kind of attitude, always. He's just the funniest guy to watch and listen to, because he's smart, and he's not an asshole, but at the same time, he just seems like either he's got like a weird sense of humor or something, and he's always amused, or he's sort of a creep. You know what I mean? But like, anyway, he's hilarious to watch and listen to in that sense, because his attitude just like tickles me to death. I think he's hilarious. Even though he's not trying to be. But you can occasionally get good advice from him and stuff, although I think he's mostly giving advice to beginners in the space of gold and silver and, investing in gold and silver mining companies, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, he's an interesting guy to listen to. He's an expert. You should listen to him as well. But yeah, I think it was him who was saying something. What was I going to say? It was a quote by him, though. But I just forgot now what he said that I was going to repeat. Whatever it was. It was kind of interesting, but whatever. But yeah, so I think it's good to know that platinum is extremely undervalued and is a very good deal if you really are not comfortable with paying a high premium. Like if you think the prices are going to come back down for silver once, like there's abundance again or whatever, right? If you think we're going back down to a COMEX price of 15.50 and you're going to pay $17, after you pay the 150 above spot or whatever, you think we're going back to that, well then, yeah, you might want to wait and buy silver instead of buying platinum, but platinum is a way better deal than gold. In my opinion, silver is definitely the best deal, then platinum, and then gold. And then obviously palladium is ridiculously expensive right now, although it's actually platinum in terms of like how much they mine is significantly more rare than gold right now. Well, always has been. Although it's the same amount of gold as there is gold in the Earth's crust, there's the same amount of platinum, but palladium they mine way less, just like 70 tons every year. So that's like what, a third or a quarter or something of as much as they mine platinum. So you would think that based on fundamentals, that would mean the platinum price would be like 3 to 4 times the price. I mean, the palladium price would be 3 to 4 times the price of platinum, and it is. It's about 3 times the price of platinum now. So that's about fair, and it actually is more rare in the Earth's crust than both gold and platinum are. So I'm not going to say that palladium's a good deal, but and I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole personally at this price. But yeah, I think maybe platinum and gold are probably about the same quality of a deal, but gold is more of a liquid money. That is, it's easier to liquidate, it's easier to sell, and you can buy it easier and sell it easier. Basically, the same thing. Liquidity, right? Like, so that liquidity advantage of gold is, I think, not insignificant. Plus the fact that people just have a natural tendency to like gold more than palladium. Palladium's not even shiny like silver is. You know what I mean? So I think the best deal is silver, then platinum, then gold, and then maybe a close second to gold is palladium. So, silver first, then platinum, then gold, then palladium. That's my opinion on the quality or the buyability of them. What's the best deal or whatever. So I think that is something that people should understand when considering whether they want to buy gold or silver. But, looking at the fact that the mining, like a lot of mines have shut down, the mining production of gold and silver is like significantly lower now, or the mining production of it soon will be very lower because the mines have been shut down because of this whole coronavirus bullshit and all the social distancing overreaction to it. So what this means is that, the production of it is going to drop significantly. There will be even more shortages of silver and gold, especially since everybody's stocking up now out of fear over the coronavirus thing. And so what this means is, I personally, I could be wrong, but I personally think that we're going to see even higher prices for silver and gold. And I don't think we're going back to a COMEX price unless, of course, the COMEX somehow makes it more of a physical backed product. Like maybe they back each share of COMEX or whatever, like a GLD or whatever. Like maybe they back that with a hell of a lot more gold, or they artificially set the price higher. You know what I mean? Or they change the rules on like how many paper contracts can be traded per how many ounces of gold they have in their warehouses, and storage and stuff, right? Like if they change the ratio to 10 to 1, there's 1 ounce of gold for every 10 contracts instead of what it is now, where I don't think anybody even knows the number, but people guess it's between 100 and 500 contracts, 1 ounce contracts for, well, not 1 ounce contracts, the contracts are much bigger, but, there's 1 contract ounce for every, 100, there's 100 or 500 contract ounces for 1 ounce of physical. You know what I'm saying? So this being the case, this means that it's a situation of all they would have to do is cut that way down, make some rule and say they can only do 10 to 1 now, right? And so then that would just automatically, I think, skyrocket the price of gold on the COMEX, right? And then, the COMEX price could match the physical price then, right? And then, everybody starts to, maybe they believe the COMEX price once again. Or maybe it causes a panic and then the price gets even higher for the physical, and then nobody believes the COMEX price anymore, even though it is way more reliable than ever before because of the ratio being more realistic, right? In terms of it's not an insane fractional reserve gold thing anymore. It's much more reasonable. And, a lot of people are not going to get their gold if they all redeem at the same time, but, 10 to 1 is a hell of a lot better than 500 to 1, So, I really do think it's we're going to see higher gold and silver prices in the next year or two. I mean, I'm no expert or anything, but I mean, if mines are shutting down and the physical price has already diverged from the COMEX price, and everybody's panicked over the coronavirus thing, and the economy is tanking because there's nobody working, and we have, what was it I heard recently? It's like 17 million people are now just recently over the last few weeks been thrown out of employment, been laid off and stuff. That's madness. You know what I mean? Like this is just a perfect storm for gold and silver. So I personally don't think the prices are going to, match up with the COMEX again. But I could totally be wrong about that. I could totally be wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that if you're not into silver at these prices, you might want to be into platinum, because while I say that the fundamentals, as I talked about earlier, show much more growth potential, even at these supposedly overpriced prices. Even though silver has more potential than platinum, platinum still has tremendous potential, way more potential than gold. So if you want to avoid silver and you're thinking about whether to buy gold or platinum, I would buy platinum if I were you. I strongly considered buying platinum recently, but I decided to buy silver instead. I bought a bar of silver. I don't usually buy bars. I once bought a bunch of little 1-ounce bars, but I've never even bought a 10-ounce bar before, and then I bought an even bigger bar than that for the first time. So I want to stock up on silver, even though it's more of a long-term bet than gold and platinum are, although I think they'll all go up at the same time, roughly, if we have a massive economic collapse, which it's starting to look like we're going to have, right? Because the Federal Reserve, they can print currency, but they can't print purchasing power. You know what I mean? So the Federal Reserve cannot pull us out of this. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to say other than, yeah, I mainly just wanted to point out that platinum is an incredible deal as well. And so, yeah, I'm not telling anybody to buy silver or even gold or platinum, but if you're going to buy a precious metal, see, if you already have precious metals now, if you had been buying over the last, few years when I've been telling everybody to buy, over the last 3 to 5 years, when I've been 4 years or so, when I've been telling people to buy gold and silver, if you've been doing that, then you have probably a fair amount of silver and maybe a little bit of gold as well, and you're good. You're solid. You don't have to buy expensive premiums on silver now because you already have a few 100 ounces or whatever, or more, a few 1,000 ounces, whatever. You're good. You're set. But if you really only just started recently, or you're starting now, I personally would buy silver. Like, if it were me, maybe it's stupid of me, but I would still be stocking up on silver right now if I had never bought any precious metals before, because silver is such an undervalued thing that even at these insanely high premiums, you're still getting an incredible deal compared to how cheap it is compared to gold, right? Like, okay, that was another thing I wanted to say, right? Like, Old Man Flappiness said, I knew the premiums on silver were going to be unreasonably high, so I ended simply not buying into it. Okay, so I did the ratio on, like I said, you can buy silver now. Like the spot price is like $15.57 today, and I didn't check what the silver coins are today, but I checked a few days ago, and the spot price was basically the same. And you could buy a silver 1-ounce coin for between like 19 and 21 ounces. $21, $19 and $21 an ounce. Maybe it was even $18 an ounce. You could buy it fairly cheap, right? Although I think, if you pay by credit card and if you don't buy in bulk, then it's more expensive. So let's just say $20 an ounce you can pay for silver, right? So, okay, if you can pay $20 an ounce for silver, then divide $1,700, because that's roughly the price of gold. It's actually a little higher, $1,724 today, but let's just say $1,700. I did the math. $1,700 divided by $20. $1,700 divided by 20, you get 80. That means the gold-silver ratio for even today's price of overpriced silver, including, which includes the very high premium. If you include the very high premium, you still get a gold-to-silver ratio of 80. That is insanely high. Not the price of silver is insanely high. The gold-silver ratio is insanely high, meaning the higher the ratio is, the more undervalued silver is. Like, if you look at the historical over the last 105 years, the average price of, the average ratio of the gold-silver ratio, you get an average of about 50. Although I'm kind of eyeballing it, but it looks like it's about 50 to me. But even if you want to go by like the standard of more recently, not the last 105 years, but take about since, let's see, the low point was 1967 at 15.67, meaning silver was 1/15 the price of gold. You take since 1967, so that's what, 53 years. You take the last 53 years, the average of the gold-silver ratio has been what I would say about 50, or if you go of the last, since 1986, I would say the average is about, what would they call that? I would say it's about 63 to 65, maybe a little less, right? You see, so so even if you go by just the last 50 years, where the average is even higher, you're still not at anywhere near an 80 to, gold to silver ratio of 80. That is still silver being way undervalued. So even if you include the insane premium, silver is still historically very undervalued, and not just by the last 105 years on historical view, which it's even more undervalued compared to, of, the average of 50, but you compare it to just the last 50 years or so's average, or even the last, 40 years or so's average. You take that average, and it's still, the silver is still undervalued compared to that average. So any way you look at it, silver is still incredibly undervalued. So, if I did not own any silver and I just gotten red pilled on economics today at these prices, I would still want to buy silver. But hey, that's just me. If you already have some silver, you might want to stack up on some platinum. So that was one of the things I wanted to say. And then the very last thing I wanted to say was that there's this video by Belang P, who I've told you all many times to watch his videos, BELANGP. Belang P, and it's all one word, and it's all lowercase. The guy's got like a PhD. He's really, really smart. He shows graphs and stuff and makes it easy to understand. So many of his videos are really indispensable. It's not like, Junie Smallby videos or even my videos where you could, if you watch the right ones, you could take all the best ones and it'd probably only be like 1/5 or 1/10 of the guy's videos are must see, and all the rest of them are, maybe they're okay, but they're not indispensable. But Belang P's videos, I would say most of his videos are indispensable. You really need to watch all of his videos because probably 80% of his videos are must watch. Definitely at least like 50 to 60% of his videos are must watch. But the one video, after all this time, it's probably been a couple of years, maybe 3-4 years. Yeah, probably 3-4 years since I started watching his channel. And all this time, maybe even longer, maybe 5 years now. And all this time that I've been watching his channel, the most important video, the one that stuck in my head the most out of all of his videos, is the one called Small Moves. And in it, I want you to go watch that video, Small Moves. He's only got 200 videos, so, it wouldn't even take that long to search through them, or just, use the search function, Small Moves, Belang P, and it'll probably come up. You can find it. It's right there, and it's not on unlisted or private or anything. It's just, right there to watch. So find the video called Small Moves. I believe it's all lowercase, he didn't capitalize either of the words. And just watch that video. It's not even that long. It's like 13 minutes. And in it, he talks about, like, how the wealth of the world is divided, and how much the people at the bottom have, how little rather, and how much the people above them have, and how much the people above them have, and then how much the people at the very tippy top have, right? And then he turns that into gold. And he's like, if we divided the world's above ground gold supply, how much would everybody have? Right? And then he says, well, or we could do it by this way. How much is mined every year? And then how much would everybody get out of the newly mined gold? All right? And like, it was like the people at the very tippy top would only be making, I think it was 1.3 ounces of gold each year. If everybody were getting, like, the divided how much they usually get. Like, the people at the top get the most, people at the bottom get barely any, just like with money today, with, currency, right? And the people at the bottom were getting, like, literally, like, zero. Like so small, it doesn't even count on it's like less than 0.00. 1% or whatever. It was like so little, he didn't even list it, right? And then the people above them were making like 0.01% of an ounce a year. Like, and then the people above them, like if we're on a gold standard or something, everybody were, earning whatever their percentage of the wealth pyramid is based on their talents and how much, what their earning potential is and stuff. And then the people above them were making, I can't remember what it was, maybe half an ounce, a year. Or no, maybe it wasn't half an ounce. Maybe it was less than that. Maybe it was 1/10 of an ounce. And then it was only the people at the very tippy top that were making 1.3 ounces of gold every year out of the freshly mined gold supply each year. So gold is way more rare than you think. And even if you're just buying 1/10 of an ounce each year, you are already, like, making so much more than the people at the bottom. Like, you are you are getting way more than, and he said if the newly mined supply of gold every year were divided equally among all people, then you'd get a tenth of an ounce every year. But obviously, people don't get the equal amount of money because, some people are more talented than others and they earn way more money each year. And most people are near the bottom and they make hardly anything, right? So if you buy a tenth of an ounce, or even better, like a quarter of an ounce, if you buy a quarter of an ounce of gold every year, you're getting way, 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 way more than your fair share. And so, like, you are getting super, super rich, basically, if you are buying even just a quarter of an ounce of gold every year. And so this is really, really important to know. But, he talks about it, he shows the chart, he talks about, fiat currency, and I think a little bit in the derivatives there, and shows it in the chart, and like how many billions or so of dollars are associated with each level of the pyramid. He also talks about his son and how he pays him in silver, and he likes to trade up and trade the silver in for little pieces of gold eventually. He trades the little silver coins in for silver bars, trades the silver bars in for a bigger silver bar, trades the bigger silver bar in for a little gold coin, like a quarter ounce gold coin. He talks about all that stuff, but you really got to watch the video. It's a really, really, really good video. It's really, really important, I think. Many of his videos are really important, but that's, I think, the one that is stuck in my head the most. That video called Small Moves. So go watch that video and think about this stuff, and really consider buying some kind of precious metals. And if not that, then seriously consider buying some crypto. Like, this is the time to stock up on sound money, when it's cheap. Because they are subsidizing gold and silver and platinum and palladium and rhodium for you. They're subsidizing the price. They're keeping it low for you. Even at these insane premiums, it's still incredibly cheap. So, and silver is going to be worth astronomical amounts of money in a couple hundred years, 200, 300, 400 years. And it'd be nice to be able to pass on a huge amount of wealth and silver to your descendants, you know what I mean? So I think everybody should think about this. This has been Redshift. Hopefully somebody got something out of this. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it. Hit the thumbs down button if you didn't. Peace, trucks.